Welcome back once again. You're still watching this edition of The Breakfast Show, and now it's time for our press review, in which we are going to view together the major headlines that made up the Egyptian newspapers. We are pleased to be joined today by Dr. Walid Naggar, who is a political analyst, to analyze with us these headlines. Very good morning to you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much.
So we have lots of important topics, and let's start first by the main banner of Al Ahram newspaper, in which we read that solving the crisis of the Renaissance Dam with concession and confrontation is not an option. Foreign Minister Nabil Fahmy says that we are open to dialogue with the Africans and we will not relinquish our rights. And Kharti says that Sudan will be the most affected from the Renaissance Dam. Mahlab says that there is an African will for Egypt to recover its place in the continent. This same issue was also tackled in Al Masr Al-Yawm newspaper, and we read that Egypt invades Africa to surround the Renaissance Dam. Mahlab says the Renaissance Dam is not a war between Egypt and Ethiopia. Fahmy says an initiative for a meeting between the Nile Basin countries, and Kharti says that Khartoum is the most affected by the dam. Sir, how do you see this headline?
Yes, actually, I see that there is some kind of political progress in the whole issue, because I think the Egyptian government is moving strongly in order to solve the issue and to put some kind of a solution to the Renaissance Dam. Definitely it will influence Egypt negatively, so we have to understand that moving now in order to minimize the losses will be very important and critical too. And the statement of His Excellency Engineer Mahlab, the Prime Minister, also is very optimistic, saying that the African countries allowing the role of Egypt to go back to its place and to play its role. You know, Egypt has been all the time the leader, either in the African region or the Middle East region, either among the African countries or among the Arab countries. So Egypt is like a key role and a main player in the whole region, either in Africa or in the Middle East.
So people are now busy-minded with this dam and the negative impacts on Egypt. So how do you see the negative impact of such a dam on Egypt?
Definitely, Egypt is the last country where the dam will pour its water. So this means that the water cut of Egypt will be reduced as much as the Renaissance Dam will keep the water behind it. And definitely Sudan also will be influenced, however not as much as the case in Egypt. So I think we have also, on the other hand, seek other alternatives for water resources in Egypt, either like underground water or trying to use the seawater in agriculture where it's available or nearby such plants. In all cases, I think the political solution is the only way in order to minimize the losses in this issue.
As much as we can.
As much as possible, yes. And of course it is the mistake from the beginning, because we allowed them. However, we know that we had our own excuse, because they started while Egypt was in a chaos, like 2011. So they misused or abused the situation in Egypt. So I hope that the political talks will conclude a very positive and conclusive results.
We hope that as well. So, sir, how do you see the relations between Egypt now and the African countries? We know that Prime Minister Ibrahim Mahlab has returned back from a 3-day visit from Equatorial Guinea, and before in April he visited Chad, he visited Tanzania. So how do you see the relations with the African countries right now?
Actually, His Excellency Prime Minister Ibrahim Mahlab has been an engineer in such countries that he already visited. So this is a very good asset for Egypt, because he already knows the people and he already knows the structure of thinking in such countries. And this allowed him to have, I would say, a successful dialogues with such countries in order to put Egypt back on the map and to have its own role again among the African countries and in the whole African continent. Egypt has like good hands in most of the African countries, either in structure, like buildings, bridges, hospitals, schools. Excuse me, and also it has good positions or supporting positions in many African countries, where Egypt helped such countries in emergencies and in bad times. So I think Egypt, it's role of Egypt and it's right of Egypt to go back to its leading place or role in order to benefit more the African countries and in order to help them more, and of course they will help also Egypt more.
Of course, sir. And let's move now to another issue in Al-Akhbar newspaper. We read that after referring 20 from the leaders of Bayt al-Maqdis to the criminal court, the public prosecutor says that the most dangerous terrorist organization, which planned with both Al-Qaeda and Hamas to carry out terrorist attacks. The defendants carried out the assassination attempt that targeted the Minister of Interior and the attacks that targeted the security directorates of Cairo, Sinai and Dakhliya. The assassinated General Mohammed Said and officers Mabrouk, Abu Shakra, along with 4 others. This same issue also made one of the main banners of Al-Masri Al-Yawm, but I want to say something, because after referring 200, and it's not 20 from leaders of Bayt al-Maqdis to the criminal court, I apologize for this, and we move now to the same issue which was tackled in Al-Masri Al-Yawm. We read that the public prosecutor says that Morsi was in contact with Ansar Bayt al-Maqdis and referring 200 terrorists from the group to the criminal court. The defenders are accused in 7 terrorist cases, and they blew up 3 security directors and tried to assassinate the Minister of Interior. Such terrorist attacks are taking place a lot here in Egypt these days, especially before the presidential elections take place. So what's your comment on that, sir?
Actually, I would say that the security apparatus is doing its own best to